Welcome to Sensible Secondhand Reviews, the show where we show you how to buy sensible, practical cars between £1,000 and £5,000, and we enjoy ourselves very much in doing so. This is a 2016 Citroen C4 Cactus 1.2 Touch. It's owned by Mr. Waters from the Scottish Car Enthusiast and Trains TV channel, and I'm very grateful to be having a go in this today at the Lloyd Vehicle Consulting and Planet Auto Joint Social here at the Lakeland Motor Museum near Ulverston. So the C4 Cactus was released back in 2014. It's on the same platform as the DS3 and Citroen C3 at the time. The engines available at one of these were 75 brake horsepower 1.2 3-cylinder, an 82 brake horsepower 1.2 3-cylinder like this one, a 110 brake horsepower 1.2 3-cylinder with a turbo, and after the facelift in 2018, a 130 brake horsepower 1.2 3-cylinder with a turbo. There are also some diesels available, but as usual, due to controversial government legislation and all kinds of other reasons, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. Lloyd Vehicle Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below. One thing that strikes me straight away when driving this car is how easy it is to see everything, how high you actually sit in the car. And there's no off-road ability in this, apart from, I think the Rip Curl model might have had grip control or something like that, which is kind of like a way to stop yourself getting stuck in muddy car parks. But there's no four-wheel drive option or anything like that. It's very easy. The gearbox is pretty nice. The engine's actually got a fair amount of pull for a little 3-cylinder. I'm pleased this is the 82 brake horsepower version, because the 75 brake horsepower version does 0 to 60 in something like 13 seconds, and that doesn't sound like much fun at all. There's not as much body roll either as I was expecting in a car like this. It actually seems to control itself quite well. Only got 5 speeds in this. You could get an automatic as well. Similar to one of the DS3, I've driven a car with the engine and gearbox, and it's actually reasonably smooth. I think it's one of these automated manuals or something like that, but it's not bad. It's certainly better than a Fiat 500 dual logic or whatever it is. I've just been speaking to Mr. Waters about the trim levels available on the C4 Cactus, and this is not a common trim level. As you can see, we don't get painted mirrors, we don't get painted door handles. The alloy wheels on this car are not standard. They are actually from the next model up in the range. They've been fitted later. This car would originally have had wheel trims on it, so you don't get things like a reversing cam, you don't get parking sensors, you don't really get anything. And I suppose the sort of person who actually bought this car when it was new might have very much been into something like Ian Seabrook's Hubnut channel, and maybe into 2CVs and things. You can see the air bumps on this pre-facelift model, very prominent indeed. And this was, I think, prevent some trolley rage at Auchan or Géant or whatever it is, and actually they seem to work quite well. That's not a bad idea. The windows don't actually roll down or anything, they just pop out. Let's see if it's open. Now we'll have to come and open that in a sec. And apparently we've not got any Bluetooth at all. No air conditioning, no Bluetooth. So it's the sort of thing that the great Ian Seabrook himself would probably approve of. So I'll get the keys off Mr. Waters and we'll take a look inside. I think a large element of this car's appeal is its practicality, much as the 2CV or something was. So let's take a look in the boot. 358 litres of space in here. See that Mr. Waters likes to make sure his car's looking nice and shiny. I'll just move some of this stuff just slightly out of the way so we can get to wherever it is. I think you just stick your finger in here. Yes, you do. There we go. That's quite annoying that you don't get any form of spare wheel. That is quite annoying, but you know, there we go. The lip is rather like a Sanyong Tivoli. Actually, I think it's probably worse than a Tivoli. It's quite a high lip on this. So loading things into this car is very much more like a Super Mini than anything else. And of course, this car is actually based on the same platform as the contemporary C3 was. So maybe that's not a surprise. But we do get a little handle here to pull the boot down. It's a very light boot lid. I mean, there's actually not much to it, so it's not really a surprise. Take a look in the back. See, Winnie the Pooh is looking very, very happy indeed. Not quite sure why. And yes, because this is Scottish car enthusiast and trained TV, we have a 2-litre bottle of iron brew for demonstration purposes that you can fit into the door bins at the back, and more. You could fit probably a 1-litre one beside it. That is pretty good. Straight away we can see that the glove box is very, very unusual. It lifts up like that. I'm not going to try putting the secret mission documents in because you can see straight away that that's not going to fit. But I quite like that design. It's supposed to be like a set of Louis Vuitton luggage or something like that, as far as I understand it. The materials don't feel actually too bad. We've got the luggage theme here with these door handles, which I would have thought they would have gone in if I pushed it that way, but they don't. They're fixed. The door bins actually at the front are actually smaller, seemingly in some way, than the ones in the back doors. It's very strange. At least we actually do get electric windows in the front. I thought that we wouldn't get anything in this car because we haven't even got air conditioning, but we do get electric windows in the front. Bonnet releases down there. We'll have a look at the PureTech engine in a little while, I think. So we go round sort of back, and there we go. Mr. Waters has got a little kind of sticker there, and lots of other stickers there too. The one with my channel is actually on the front. So if we come it up, wow, pop-out windows. That's right, pop-out windows. You don't get any form of windows that actually kind of wind down at all. But it's just all you get. And the car with no aircon, that's interesting, shall we say. So that's Mr. Waters' driving position. I'll climb in. That's pretty easy, actually. There's loads of headroom. There's absolutely loads of headroom. I'd probably be a bit further back than he is. But yeah, if he's driving, then I've got loads of legroom as well. We've not got a centre armrest or anything like that. I don't know if you got that on the higher models. And there's no sort of full centre console, this being the base spec. So you just get a cup holder there and whatever shape the thing that is. I don't know what you'd use that for. Who knows? He's still looking very, very happy, and he's got his Hub Nut t-shirt on. Because of course Ian Seabrook did come to a social event here a few years ago, back in 2019. And we've got the tyre inflated there. It's a very sensible precaution. The plastic's hard, but it doesn't feel bad quality at all. And it's actually not too bad, that. It's a little bit sort of lightweight feeling, but it's okay. No seatbelt height adjustment for some reason. I don't know why that is, but there we go. Okay, I think it's time to take a seat in the front. Right, so we're not going to damage this lovely Porsche replica with our doors. There's no way we're going to do that, so that's a good thing. Just a normal ignition barrel. Brilliant. So we'll just put our foot on the clutch, make sure the handbrake is on, just put that into neutral. There we go. And there is the touchscreen. It's actually got a touchscreen, even though it's got no Bluetooth, I think, and no air conditioning. We've still got a touchscreen. Let's put the key in and see what's going on. So there we go. That's the sound of the dash cam up there. But you still have to use a touchscreen to operate this stuff. Even though there's no aircon, you still got to use it. There's not really an awful lot to operate on here. These are the car settings for the fuel economy and things like that. And that's for the music. So yeah, aux in, somewhere around here. There's the 12-volt socket. There is the USB port. I imagine that might actually be the stuff that he's been playing. But if we press this, I don't think we're going to get too much to go on. This audio settings, turn off screen, brightness adjustment, and most of the time you're going to be on here. I imagine on the higher up models you've got things like sat-nav and other exciting things, but not on this one. At least the reading window is here. That's the button for central locking, turning for traction control, and also that's a full demist. But there's not an awful lot to say, really. If you are a fan of the Furious Driving channel, then I think you'd be fitting your mug up there. Do we have a rev counter? Well, if we start her up, I'll switch hands to do this. We'll see if we do have a rev counter. Digital speedo is right there. Really weird spec. We've got cruise control, but no aircon. Weird. I don't think there is a rev counter. No, there isn't one. Very weird. Very, very strange. The electric mirrors are there. They don't get a power folding or anything. Normal wipers, normal headlights. But there is some kind of Bluetooth, because otherwise you can't make calls up. Maybe there's just no Bluetooth music streaming. That's so strange, viewers. Although we've got extra pairs of glasses and other wonderful assorted things. Just check. Oh, have we got individual map lights? Yes, we do. And little flap for parking tickets and a little mirror. I suppose it's all you need, really. I mean, it seems comfortable enough. I suppose we better have a look at the engine. So this is the mainstay of a lot of Peugeots and Citroens at the moment. It's 1.2 PureTech engine, in this case developing 82 horsepower. We've actually had two cars on the channel before on sensible secondhand reviews with this exact engine. So 3 cylinders, reasonably easy to service. There's not really a lot to it and everything like that. Although someone's plumped the battery right on top of the gearbox, so I don't know if that makes a difference really. There's the coolant reservoir. It's an interesting colour for the coolant, isn't it? It's like a yellow colour. I've not seen that in a while. Because this is a sort of, well, SUV style car. It's not really an SUV, it's more SUV style car. The underbonnet access is actually better than it would be if the car was lower, saying like a DS3, which is on the same platform as this. I do like this sort of very typical Citroen front end. I think that's quite nice. Although I've just noticed actually at the bottom we've got blanking plates for the fog lamps. I don't know why I'm surprised by now about that, but there we go. Right, I think it's time to go for another drive. The thing that you notice most of all is the comfort. Really, really comfortable. Rather like, you know, Citroens of old used to be. And in fact, after the facelift, there was a car that you could get with, I think it was a progressive hydraulic cushion system, which meant that you just didn't really feel anything at all when you were going over bumps. Now, this is not quite that. This is a base model. It's called the Touch, and some of you like that kind of stuff. No air conditioning, and you know, this car didn't have alloy wheels, things like that. That would be really your kind of thing. It's not necessarily mine, but I do appreciate this car nevertheless. One thing I'm noticing though is that although it's quite nice when you're moving, the engine doesn't really make a particularly nice noise when you're stationary, but that's the same for a lot of cars really these days. Steering is incredibly light. There's virtually no resistance to it at all. It's not really a driver's car, this. The DS3 does have better steering than this does, and you know, that's really up to you. It's really what you want. DS3 considerably more compromised car in terms of the practicality than this, and I have actually driven one of those on sensible second-hand reviews as well, if that's something that you're interested in. In terms of what this car was redesigned for, which is to take families around in a distinctive package that's cheap to run, I think it fulfills its brief very, very well, actually. And I can understand why Mr. Waters has bought this. Let's now look at some Citroen C4 Cactus trim levels. So here we have the Touch, which is what we're in, the Feel, the Flare Edition, the One Tone, I don't know what that one was, Rip Curl, which is the one with, I think, with the grip control, the W, which is one of the strangest trim levels I've ever heard of, just the letter W, the Origins, don't know what that's about, and the Feel Edition. This car was actually produced in Spain, for our market anyway, until 2020, but it's still being made in Brazil. So, is this a car that you should consider for your budget of between £1,000 and £5,000? Well, it's very much up to you in terms of the taste. I'm not sure this is exactly what I would choose with a budget of this sort of thing. I think maybe something like a Kia Ceed is a bit more me, but I can see if you are a fan of these sort of quirky Citroens of the past, and you just want a practical one to take your family around that's going to be very cheap to run and actually drives kind of okay, then this might really be the kind of thing that you'd be after, and I can understand exactly why you would want one of these cars. Anyway, thank you again to Mr. Watterson, Scottish Car Enthusiast and Trains TV, for supplying this car, and thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video and leave a comment below, and we'll see you again soon for more reasonably priced motoring.
Every day with blue skies.